There is one of my favorite workshops. So let's see. Uh, Priya at a 6. Okay. Dilraj at a 10. Mashallah. Juana at a 6. Amy at a 6. Sana at an 8. It's even like a 6 kind of day. Hopefully, by the end of this workshop, those numbers will be a little bit higher, right? Today's workshop, shifting mindset. So before we get started, sit up nice and tall, shake out all the bad energy from the day, negativity, any bad vibes, shake it out, shake it out. Put a nice big smile on your face. Come on. Cute. So in person, when we used to do our retreats in person, you know that song, I Shake It Out, I Shake It Out from Taylor Swift. That's always my first song that I play, and I get everyone to stand out, shake it. So just imagine you're listening to that one. Okay, beautiful. So what are we covering today? Today is one of my favorite workshops. And by the way, I say that most of the weeks because I love all the workshops on the life coach training. But today's workshop, I do really, really, really enjoy. The NLP communication model is kind of like related with this one. What are we going to be covering? We're going to be covering the difference between our conscious versus our subconscious, unconscious mind. We're going to be going over what are the superpowers, conscious mind, and then also a 5-step strategy for shifting a mindset. So in last week, we discussed all around the science of the mind. How does the mind work? We discussed that beautiful NLP communication model. You guys all remember that, right? Lovely, lovely model. For today, we're going over the strategy of how do we actually shift a certain mindset. If we have a negative, a fixed, a limited mindset, how can we actually shift that or help our clients to shift that? Okay, so put a big smile on your face, get ready, and let's get started. So I like to always start the session with a question because I like to get those creative juices flowing. Let me know either in the chat box or unmute yourself to let me know what is your understanding of the difference between our conscious versus our subconscious mind. I want to hear your perspective first. What is the difference between your conscious versus your subconscious mind? If anyone wants to explain and unmute themselves, they're welcome to put their hands up, or you can just chat it up on the chat box for us. What is the difference? We've heard our conscious, we've heard our subconscious. What is the biggest difference between these two parts of our brain, these two parts of our mind? Yes, Sana.
The conscious is what I'm living now, what is in my mind now. The subconscious is what is hidden, something I lived maybe long back, and it is stored in my mind.
Beautiful, right? Are you a little bit sick?
Yes,
Dina, hope you're feeling better soon. I can hear it in the
thank
voice.
you. Thank
Right. So you
you.
guys maybe seen that picture of the iceberg, right? I must actually put it on there, but I'm sure you've seen that picture of the iceberg, and then it's like the tip of the iceberg, and then it's the rest of the iceberg underneath the water that you don't really see. So that's pretty much our conscious is that tip of the iceberg at the top that you see. Our subconscious is everything underneath that you don't see. That's driving the whole show. One says subconscious works automatically. The other is our awareness, awareness of the present. Beautiful, right? So exactly that. The conscious mind, it is like the captain of the ship. It's the part that's aware. It's making all the decisions. It decides what to focus on. It executes all the functions, all the decisions, and it sends out all the decisions to the rest of the ship to carry out. So the conscious mind is that like part of you that's aware. The subconscious mind, it's a lot bigger, right? It's like all the crew in the engine room, and that's all the rest of the crew of the cruise ship. And they are the ones that are actually controlling or that are actually carrying out all the orders. They don't decide where the ship goes, but they help to do all the processes that are necessary to actually move the ship. So the crew in the engine room, they're not making the decisions. They're just carrying on their job, right? They don't need to understand Why is the captain telling me to do this and this and this? They are responsible just for executing their job. Right? So all habits, every single habit, the first time you do it, while it's still a behavior, before it becomes a habit, every single behavior starts first at the conscious level. And then over time, repeating, it then moves to the subconscious level. So if the captain, the conscious mind, gives clear, empowering, positive orders, the crew, the subconscious, the rest of the body, the rest of the team, they will steer the ship into the right direction. However, if the captain is unclear or negative, the ship still follows, but in the wrong direction, right? So the ship just follows whatever the captain says, right? Because the ship is not the one that's making executive decisions. The subconscious mind follows the conscious mind. The conscious mind makes the decisions. So whatever you repeatedly think about and whatever you repeatedly tell yourself consciously, eventually it will become your automatic programming that your subconscious just runs with. So whatever is right now present, current in your life, whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're saying to yourself, if it's new, it's not really being controlled automatically. But when you continue doing that, you think that way, you speak that way, you act that way, over time, it now becomes unconscious. It gets moved to your subconscious, right? And the subconscious just runs the show automatically. So when we're looking at the conscious mind, this beautiful conscious of mind, right? Because this is where, if we want to make any change, where does it start? It has to start in the conscious mind. So if we're looking at the conscious mind, it's got two very beautiful and unique functions of the conscious mind. The first function of the conscious mind is the ability to direct your focus. You can shift, if I'm concentrating on here, I can shift my attention and I can concentrate on here, right? So the first ability is the ability to direct my focus, my energy. The second ability of the conscious mind is the ability to visualize, the ability to imagine, right? Because the conscious mind can be creative. It can create scenarios, things that have never even occurred. And when we use these two powers correctly, these two powers is what has the power to shift our mindset and change our life. So whatever you focus on will start to grow, it will consume your conscious mind, and then you will start to get more of that in your life. So if you always focus on negativity, if I always focus on my problems, if I always focus on what's going wrong, that is going to grow and grow and grow, and I'm going to have more and more and more of that, right? However, if I focus on the direction I want to go, I'm more able to move into that direction. And that's why we can have some people who can be physically imprisoned in inhumane conditions, yet they can still be free in their mind. They could be treated so badly, but they could still have a positive outlook. Think of Viktor Frankl, right? You guys know him, right? Think of Nelson Mandela. These people are testaments to those facts that they could be treated inhumanely and still come out and have a positive outlook. Right? Think of the Oprah Winfrey's of the world. There's a guy that we know, he actually joined some of our training the last time, and then unfortunately he couldn't finish it, and he's based in Gaza right now, right? His Instagram handle is Jim Rat in Gaza, and you see what they're put through every single day, but somehow he can still have the energy to make positive motivational content. He's still working out, right? Like there's buildings in ruins and you see him still doing pull-ups on the damaged buildings. So what it comes down to is that you and you alone have the power to shape how you experience the world. We discussed this in the NLP communication rule. It's not necessarily the events of our lives. It's not the circumstances, the conditions of our mind, of our lives, but it's rather our mindsets. It's rather where our thoughts go and the way that we decide to see the world that affects how we're feeling in any given moment. So your conscious mind can imagine something new. It can visualize something that has never occurred before. The subconscious mind, however, the crew, they cannot distinguish between what's real and what's imagined, right? So you could visualize yourself achieving your goals. And if you do it over and over and over again, the subconscious mind starts to believe that this is the reality, this is the truth, and it accepts it as its programming. And then it works to create that outcome in your reality through conscious thought and behavior. Isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that amazing, right? This conscious mind imagines something, it visualizes something. The subconscious mind thinks, oh, that's the truth. And then it creates that to feel real, to experience it as if it is real. And that's why a fear can be so powerful, because the conscious mind imagines this fear. They imagine whatever they're anxious about, and they imagine it to be real. And that's why a person can go and have a real panic attack. They can feel the exact same fear thinking about a lion or thinking about a threat, almost as if it was in front of them, right? So that is how powerful our mind is. The second thing, so what we do then as coaches is we use visualization, this extremely powerful tool, and we use it to help our clients to change what they're leveraging their mind's ability to vividly imagine future scenarios, future experiences of their desired outcome. In coaching, we call this future framing. I take you and I put you in the future to visualize something as if it has already happened. So visualization or mental imagery actually allows your clients to engage all of their senses. So we want to engage the senses, the emotions, in a way that can help them to really embody that experience so that it feels more real. And then they mentally rehearse that goal as if they have achieved it. So visualization isn't just about seeing a picture, but it's about a feeling, the emotions tied to that feeling. So what it would look like, and if you want, you can close your eyes or you don't have to. But what I want you to do is I want you to think about that goal that we discussed in that first session. Remember, we did that activity and we did a goal setting activity. So I want you to imagine that number one goal that you set out, whatever that number one goal was, whether it was achieving something new, whether it was finishing this training and launching a new business. Maybe it's shifting something in your relationship, in your career, something in your health, something in your body. And I just want you to think of 6 months from now, it's the middle of next year, it's 2026. And I want you to think 2026, middle of the year, you look back and you've achieved everything that you set out to do. You shifted whatever it is that you wanted to shift in your emotions and your behavior. You achieved whatever that goal was, whether it was financial, whether it was physical. I want you to see yourself 6 months, 7 months from now, 8 months from now. How will you be looking? How will you be feeling? What will you be experiencing? What will those thoughts be going through your head once you've achieved that? Wow, maybe you could put a smile on your face. Which emotion is attached to that? Is it relief? Is it pride? Is it confidence? Is it happiness? I don't want you to think of the strategy. It doesn't matter how we're going to get there. I want you to just imagine you're at the finish line. You've accomplished it. And you're looking back and you're like, damn, I'm so proud of you. Ioana, yes, Shilpa, I knew you could do it. Yes, Sana, this is what we've been working for. Which emotions would you be experiencing them? And I know you're on mute, but say it out loud. Which emotion would that give you? Would it give you pride? Would it give you confidence? Would it give you peace? Would it give you happiness, fulfillment? Yes. Imagine that, Amy Grace. Imagine you had that. Right? Priya, it's everything you wanted. Everything you wanted, and you can feel it. You can experience it. Yeah, Jonathan, you're so proud of yourself. Right? You did that. You achieved it. Beautiful. You can open your eyes and put a nice big smile on your face. Right? So this is just a tiny example, obviously. In a real session, we'd have a full session of this, right? But can you feel a difference in how you felt literally 2 minutes ago to now? Yes or no? Little bit? No, not really. Or yes, little bit. Right? So when we do this, what it does is it allows the mind to feel as if there is a possibility for it to happen. When we're looking at things with a fixed mindset, exactly like Rory explained, in the momentum cycle, if I do not believe in my ability to achieve it, I don't even put the actions necessary. I don't take the steps necessary. But if I full on 1,000% believe that I can achieve it, I'm going to do everything it takes. Right? If I told you that that goal that you were imagining, if you did everything in your power, I mean, if I said to you in 6 months' time, you would 1,000% achieve that goal, 1,000%, there's no question about it. Would you put in your maximum effort if you knew 100% you would achieve it, guaranteed? Would you put in your maximum effort to achieve it? Right? Very different than if I feel like I'm not going to achieve it. If I feel like I'm not going to achieve it, yes, I'm not going to even put in any efforts, because why would I? Right? Why would I set myself up to fail? If I can truly believe that I will achieve it, it kicks me into that next gear. Right? So future framing, an extremely powerful tool that we use for our clients. Okay, so let's have a look at the strategy, the 5-step strategy. And if you've got a pen and paper, make sure you write down this strategy. This is going to be the guiding force for shifting your own mindsets and helping your clients shift their mindset. So our very first step for shifting a mindset, and this is based on the neuroscience, right? This is based on how the brain actually works. Our first step is awareness. Second step is responsibility. Third step is direction. Fourth step is action. And fifth step, repetition. So our first step, awareness. Awareness means catching that thought, that limiting belief, that negative self-talk as it arises, right? So as I start thinking negatively, as I start speaking negatively to myself, as I start having a belief, no, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not good at, I'm not good enough. Awareness means I catch it in the moment. I grab that thought, because without awareness, nothing can change. If I'm not aware of something, I have no power or ability to change it. So awareness is the very, very first step to shifting a mindset. And next week, we have a full session on how to develop awareness and how we can actually be more aware in the present moment. So we need to develop a certain level of awareness of what is our current mindset. What are my thoughts and my perceptions driving my behavior? What is my captain giving the orders to do? And how is that affecting me? Is it leading me to the direction I want to go? Or are there certain thoughts and beliefs and self-talk that's leading me to where I don't want to go? So we become very clear of what is my current mindset and how is it affecting me? And what this awareness does is it activates the prefrontal cortex. meaning it gives you the ability to choose a different response rather than staying on autopilot, right? So the prefrontal cortex, it actually allows us to shift and change my response. The more I do this, the easier it becomes, right? So awareness, the very first step. So I want you to think about an area that you may have a negative or limiting mindset. It might be beneficial if you used one of your top goals, if you have a negative belief about yourself or a limiting mindset, or think of a recent event that happened where you spoke yourself down. You were like, no, you didn't do that good. No, no one liked what you had to say. Right? I've got clients, coaching clients that are always saying this. I went to public speaking events and I was so stuck in my head because I don't have anything good to say. Right? I'm not influential. No one likes, I don't have anything important to say. So think about an area. Where do you have a negative or a limiting mindset? Perhaps a recent event, perhaps it's a goal that you've been putting that you're wanting to achieve. And I want you to write out what are the beliefs, the attitude, the thought patterns that you have in that area. What are all the things that that voice inside of your head says to you? No, you're not good at that. No, you're not as smart. No, you're not that kind of person. So write out all the thoughts that come up. What are all the thoughts going through your head when you have that negative or limiting mindsets? I'm not someone who's good at that. No, my business will never be a success. What does that little voice say? How does it bring you down? How does it stop you from moving forward? How does it stop you from taking action? What if I do this and I fail? What will other people think? What will other people say? Right? So, what are other people going to think about this? What if other people judge me? This is part of that, right? So write it out.
Yeah.
And then,
You know,
and then I
you
want you to recognize, why is it important that you change? Why is it important for you to change this mindset? How is it holding you back? How is having this limiting mindsets or having these negative thoughts, having these limiting beliefs, how are they stopping you from taking action? What are they taking away from you? Is it your finances? Is it your energy? Is it your future? Is it fulfillment? Is it happiness? Is it peace? What is this negative or this limiting mindset taking away from you? What is it preventing you from having? These consistent negative thought patterns making you feel a certain way repeatedly. So write it out. Why is it important for you to change? So our first step, we practice self-awareness. We listen to what the voices say. We pay attention to where the thoughts, the emotions, and the reactions throughout the day, and we notice when we're bringing up these old patterns of thinking. Our second step then is responsibility. Once I've brought awareness to my current mindset, I now need to be responsible. I have to take responsibility for changing it. So by understanding that your results and your thoughts and your outcomes are the results of the thoughts and the actions that you think, the actions that you take, you then take back your power and ability to change it. If I am blaming other people for me feeling this way, I'm blaming circumstances, I'm blaming external environments, I'm blaming other things outside of myself. And I'm not saying, again, it's not saying that you are the one that's at fault. I'm not saying that you're the one at fault, but there's a difference between fault and responsibility. If it's my responsibility, I can change it. If it's not my responsibility, if it's someone else, if it's something outside of me that has made me feel a certain way, I can't change it, right? Because it's outside of me. And I cannot control what's outside of me. I can only control what's inside of me. So by taking responsibility, I'm not taking blame. I'm not taking fault. I'm not saying it's my fault. I didn't deserve it. But how I respond is my responsibility. I get to choose. I get to decide. And only once I make that decision, only once I commit to that decision that I am responsible for how I feel and the outcomes that I create, that's when I actually take control of the situation. If it's outside of my responsibility, there's nothing I can do. I cannot control it. So if I want to make any changes in my life, who is responsible? And if you think it's me, say I am. If I want my life to get better, who is responsible? I am, right? Are my kids going to do it? Is my partner going to do it? Is my colleagues going to do it for me? Is my kids going to do it for me? No, right? If I want any change, if I want anything to be different, even when it's not my fault, I have to be the one to take responsibility. I wish, right? Maybe one day, right? We'll come up with a magic cat and everything will be better. Right. So what this means is I develop an internal locus of control. So if you've ever heard this word locus of control, it's where the energy goes. Some people feel that life is just happening to them. They're a victim. Whatever happens, they are the victim. They're helpless, right? Life is just happening to them. Ever met anyone like that, right? It doesn't matter what happened. They've always got a problem. For every solution, there's more problems, right? Every single day, there's a new story, and it's bigger and it's worse. And the whole world is out to get them, and everyone is taking advantage of them. Anyone know someone like this? Maybe personally, right? So this is someone that has an external locus of control. Right? Nothing is my fault. I'm a victim to everything, and therefore I have no power. I'm just at the mercy of the universe, at the mercy of my environment. And how easy is it to be washed with your environment? Right? Very, very easy, because there's a lot of people who like to feel bad. There's a lot of people who are not emotionally intelligent, right? And they want everyone else to join them. However, you get other people who they are in control of their lives. Even when something happens to be outside of their control, outside of their responsibility, they still somehow have power over the outcome. Right? Even though something externally happened to them, they still took control of the situation and they took responsibility. This is having an internal locus of control. So if I want to make massive changes, I need to develop an internal locus of control. Beautiful. So first step, awareness. Second step, responsibility. Very important. Nothing happens without those two steps. Now the third step, the juicy step, right? The direction. Now I decide what is the direction I want to go in. What is the vision? Where is my path? What kind of mindset would I rather have? I catch myself thinking negatively. Okay, how can I think otherwise? So, how do we direct our mindset? How do we direct the focus? Is firstly, we develop a growth mindset. We reframe setbacks, right? Rory took you through many activities on Monday covering this. The second step is we control what we focus on. And there's certain things that we should be focusing on. And the third one is developing an internal locus of control, right? I am the one that's responsible. So when we are looking at shifting the perspective, right? When we're looking at this growth mindset, it's shifting the perspective on the same event. We did a beautiful activity, right? Called reframing. Guys, remember to reframe. It's changing something that's negative into something that could be positive. So you shift your perspective. Instead of thinking this failure means I'm bad, this failure means I'm a loser, this failure means it's the end, I reframe it. This failure is feedback. This failure is information. This failure is helping me grow, to learn more, to develop more, to get better. And this practice of reframing, it rewires our amygdala, the prefrontal connection, which reduces our fear and it increases our problem-solving capacity. So when we do this on a more regular basis, we become more conditioned to think like this. You see how it's all connected? When I don't do this on a regular basis, what happens? I go for problems. I search for problems rather than problem solving. So I learn to reframe. I get better at problem solving, which makes me not focus on the fear, but focus on the solution. The next thing is we shift our focus. Now I'm going to need a volunteer for this. Right. Let's see. Volunteer. Okay, Shilpa, if you don't mind, you can unmute yourself. How are you doing, Shilpa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Okay, Shilpa, how has your day been?
It's been a bit busy. Yeah, because evening I have some plans, so I was trying to put everything in place. Like after the class, I have to go there, so I was preparing. So all the preparation and the regular things took time.
Okay, beautiful. So a very busy day, huh?
Yes, it
Okay.
was.
Shilpa, if you don't mind, just turn your camera off for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. And Juana, I think you were in the introduction. Maybe one or two of you were in the introduction. Let's see. What color was Shilpa's glasses? What color is Shilpa's glasses? Let me know in the chat box. What color were Shilpa's glasses? And some of you have done this activity before, right? So I'm expecting full answers here. I'm expecting right answers here. Black. Jonathan says black. Who agrees with black? Black. Okay. Amy agrees with black. Sana, white. Okay. Shilpa, you can turn your camera back on. Right? So usually I do it with looking in the room, but Juana caught me last time. I asked what color. I usually make someone look, and then I asked what color is the sun behind me, and Juana guessed it, and she ruined my whole activity. So I thought to try a different one today. Right? Why? Okay, let's try another one. And this is going to be for all of you guys, right? So I want you guys to look around your room. Oh, look around my room. Let's make that because we can't see everyone's room. Look around my room. Count how many blue items. How many blue items can you see? Look for blue. Look for blue. Count however many blue items you can see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay, tell me, how many green items are in my room? How many green items are behind me? 2, 3. I'm not asking for blue. What? How many green? How many green items? How many green items? 2, 1. I gave you guys so much time. None. I gave you guys so much time to look. Why was it? Maybe you missed the whole tree, the plants, right? Why was this so difficult? Why could you not tell me how many green? I gave you the time. I gave you the time to look, but I told you what to look for? Blue. So Wanda gave me how many blue items, right? We had lots of guesses. But whatever we focus on, that is what's going to take up our energy, right? Our reticular activating system, that part of our brain, it can only focus on a very small amount of information. So if I'm asking you to look for the blue, what are you doing? You're looking for the blue. You're not looking at the green. You're not looking at the red. You're not looking at the yellow, the pink, the purple, right? Because why? Look for the blue. So wherever your focus goes, your energy flows, your energy follows, right? Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. That's what takes up your energy. That's what takes up the focus in your mind. So in order to shift your mindset, if I'm always focusing on my flaws, my weaknesses, everything that's going wrong, everything bad that's happening in the world, all my fears, how do you think I'm going to be feeling on a regular basis? Great or not so great? Probably not so great, right? And the thing is, I can focus on whatever I want, right? Exactly. All right. I can focus on whatever I want. If I choose to always focus on the bad things, that's what's going to consume my life. That's what's going to consume my mindset. If I shift my focus to focusing on what's going right in my life, to focusing on my blessings, to focus on my strengths, to focus on my weaknesses with intention to grow, to develop, it's a very different energy. How do you think I'll be feeling if I'm always focusing on those things, the things that make me feel good, right? If I'm focusing on the positive things instead of the negative things. So in order to shift your mindset, you have to learn to shift what you are focusing on in the moment every day and move into that direction. You have to learn to focus on what can you control, not what you can't, right? So as a coach, we use mindset shifting to help us to direct our clients, to help us to direct ourselves to focus into the direction that we want to go in, or our clients, the direction that we want them to go in. So there's certain things in our life that we can control, and there's certain things in our life that we cannot control. The majority of people spend so much of their time and their energy focusing on the things that are outside of their control, and then they wonder why they're always exhausted. So what are some of the things that are outside of my control? The opinions of other people. Can I control it? I can try my best to influence it. I cannot control it. The actions of others. Can I control it? I can think I can, but I cannot. The future, the past, what happens around me, what other people think, the outcome of my effort. I can put in maximum effort. I can control my effort, but I cannot control the outcome. I cannot control how other people take care of themselves. I cannot control the weather. I cannot control the government. I cannot control other things outside of me so much. But if I am someone who, I live in the Middle East, right? So I live in Doha. It's 40 degrees outside on a good day. And I'm someone who doesn't like the heat. So every single day, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to look up and I'm going to be like, sunshine. Ah, ah. And every day I'm going to get angry. And every day I'm going to run outside. I'm going to look up and I'm going to be like, sun. Hot. Do you think this will be a little bit exhausting for me living in the Middle East? Absolutely, right? So every day I'm going outside, I'm crying because it's hot, I'm crying, but I live in the Middle East. Can I control the weather? Can I change it? What if I throw a tantrum? Sonny, what if I throw a tantrum? Can I change it then? No. It's a bigger tantrum. Still can't change it. If I put all my effort in, still can't change it. But there's certain things that are outside of our control. You can do a backflip. You can get 99% in your exam. Whatever you want, it's not going to change, right? But a lot of people put all their energy into this, the things that they cannot control. And then they wonder why they're exhausted. It's because they're running, shouting outside at the weather. It's not changing anything. They're putting all their energy into something that cannot be changed. There are certain things, though, that are inside my control. These are things I can change. These are things that I have power over. My boundaries. I cannot control other people, how they act, but I can control my boundaries with them. I can control my thoughts, my actions. I cannot control what happens to me. I can control how I react and respond. I cannot control the outcome of my efforts, but I can control my goals, my actions, what I give my energy to, how I speak to myself. I can control how I handle challenges. So although I cannot control the weather outside, I can use an umbrella to not get burnt. I can put sunscreen lotion. I can go chill in the AC, right? There's certain things that I can control. There's certain things I cannot control. We need to get really good at putting all of our energy into what you can control. Because if you're always focusing on what you cannot control, you will always be feeling burnt out. You will always be feeling overwhelmed. You will always be feeling flat out of energy because you're trying to fix something you cannot fix. Does it make sense? Beautiful. So firstly, I focus on what I can control. There's certain things I can control. That's it. Then I focus on solutions, not problems. The majority of people, because naturally we're wired this way, right? The brain's job is survival. So what does the brain do naturally when we used to live back in the caveman days? The brain used to search for threats. You're out living in the wild. Yes, if you see a bush shaking, run away because it really might be something that might kill you. However, today, we're not living outside in the wild, but we still have that same brain that has prepared us for survival. The brain's job is not to search for positivity and gratitude. And that's why so many people struggle with their emotions. The brain's job is to search for threats, right? However, most of us are walking around searching for threats all the time, even when there's no threats. And we never have time to down-regulate and activate that parasympathetic state where the body is able to heal. The immune system is able to recover. Digestion is able to occur. Right, so what we need to do is we need to learn how to focus on a solution, not a problem. Because whatever I focus on gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If I focus on a problem, what happens? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? I'm coaching a client right now, and she struggles a lot with anxiety. what happens is she's doing her master's degree, and she's in university, and then she's I don't know if she's university, but she's doing her research, and she focuses on her fear. Her fear is she's not doing enough, she's not achieving enough, she's not studying enough. And then that consumes her. I'm not doing enough, I'm not studying enough, and I'm not doing enough, I'm not studying enough. And what happens? She goes into a panic attack, and then she cuddles up on her couch and she can't do anything. Why? Because now this problem is so massive. What happens if I don't do this? I'm going to lose my master's. I'm going to lose my place. I've got no future. Look how bad this problem is, right? So what most people do is they focus on the problem. The problem makes them feel worse. The problem makes them feel more anxious. And when you're feeling really anxious, your brain is not operating at its 100%, right? You're not thinking properly. You're not thinking clearly. Your body's in a state of stress. Your body's looking to fight the threat. So the brain's not thinking about rational decisions. What I mean today about video recording, right? So many people have that fear, by the way. It's so common. You know, public speaking is like one of the biggest fears. It's like a lot of people are more scared of public speaking than death. How crazy. Some die than public speak. Right. So when we're looking at anxiety, if we have to break down anxiety, and we'll be doing this much deeper in further sessions, but when we're breaking down anxiety, someone has anxiety, it means that they're fearing something. Anxiety is my body telling me to prepare, something is coming. But most of the time, people just think about the fear, the fear, the fear, the fear. Anxiety's message isn't to tell you to be fearful. Anxiety's message is to tell you to prepare. Something is coming. Get ready. Most people skip that part. They just worry about the fear. Right. So what we need to do then is we focus on a solution to the problem, and where possible, focus on a prevention. If I've got anxiety around something, it means that I'm nervous of something. What am I nervous of? And how can I make sure to prevent that reality from happening? Juana just said she's feeling a bit anxious about doing her recording, right? She's doing our Pilates training. She needs to submit a recording of her teaching Pilates for this very reason, to get over the anxiety, by the way. So what could the fear be? The fear could be, what if I make a mistake? What if I say something and I look silly, right? Is that roughly, or what's your fear? Unmute yourself. Let us know your fear.
I am fear that I won't do a good job. And even now, like thinking of it, like I cannot even speak. And that I will like mix my words, or I will forget the sequence. I fear of embarrassment.
So mix my words, forget the sequence, fear of embarrassment, won't do a good job, right? That's what she said. Now, even thinking about it, she's struggling to speak. So what happens when we start to get anxious? The brain stops functioning efficiently. Why? Because all the blood rushes to the muscles in order so that we can fight the threat or run away. Now, Wanda can't run away from this threat. She can't fight it. Can you fight a video recording? Can you run away? No, she has to do it. Now, when we think about all these things, look what could go wrong. Oh my goodness gracious, this means it's the end of the world, right? If all these things go wrong. But what would the solution be? Okay, get very clear on what you're going to say. Write it out. Prepare exactly what you're going to say. Have your notebook there so that you've got your notes. Forget the sequence. Write the sequence out, right? Have it there. Fear of embarrassment, right? What's going to embarrass us more than anything? Forgetting how to speak. The anxiety will actually do what we're trying to avoid. So what would then the goal be? The goal would be, how can I get into the most calm state so that my brain is actually able to function? So how can I prepare so that I feel confident to take this task on? Right. So My goal is to prepare. I find preventions to my fear rather than focusing on my fear. I find solutions to the problem rather than focusing on the problem. I focus on the present moment. I breathe. I use my senses. I get grounded. I look to the future to prepare. What do I have to do? Okay. Now let me be calm in this moment. Look at the past. Okay, I've done that before. That didn't work. Ooh, that wasn't a good one. Let's learn what we did wrong. Let's do it differently this time. Right. So I look to the past only to learn. I look to the future to prepare, to guide me. And then I focus on, okay, right now in this moment, what do I have to do? Next, you want to focus on what do you have versus what you don't have. Juana, brilliant speaker. She's friendly. She's very good with movement. She's very good with movement patterns. Look at these beautiful abilities that she has. She's a very positive person. She has a very friendly smile. So there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of abilities that you already have. And if you remind yourself of everything that you already have, everything that you're already good at, kind of like helps to ground you. If you think about what you don't have, okay, I've never done this, I've never, I don't have that kind of skill. I'll never be able to do it. It's very scary when I think about what I don't have. When I think about what I do have, it kind of grounds me. It gives me confidence to be able to take a risk to do more. Right? So you think about what do you have, not on what you don't have. And then I focus on my gratitude, because gratitude helps to ground me. Expectations, on the other hand, expectations I cannot control. My expectation is, what do I expect the outcome to be? I expect it to be perfect. What do I expect this other person to do? Whenever you're having an expectation, it very often leads to disappointment. Right? So Rory is obviously my husband, as you guys know, right? He brings me coffee every morning. It's part of our marriage agreement. He signed a contract when we got married, bringing me coffee, right? It's very nice. If I expected him to bring me coffee every single morning, I expected it, right? That's what I wanted from him every single day. That's my expectation. One day when he doesn't bring me coffee, what's going to happen? I'm going to be disappointed, right? I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be like, oh, he didn't bring me coffee. What a asshole, right? Oh, doesn't love me, right? But if we can trade our expectations for gratitude, every single morning, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful. Don't have to leave bed. I can drink my coffee in bed. Oh, so grateful. I can sit drinking coffee with my cat. It's a very different experience, right? If I'm grateful every time, it makes me feel good every time. If I expect it, I don't really feel good. I just feel disappointed when it doesn't happen. Think about in your work situation. How does it feel when someone just expects you to do something all the time? And it's just you have to do it. You don't feel appreciated. You don't feel acknowledged. Does it make you want to keep on doing this? Or do you sometimes be like, no, actually, I feel like I'm not appreciated. I don't even want to do it. Right? When you feel appreciated, you're much more likely to continue doing a behavior. And this works for ourselves as well. So often we just expect ourselves. We just expect ourselves. You should be like this. You should be like this. Right? And then what happens? You're not like that and you're disappointed in yourself. However, when I show myself gratitude, appreciation, oh, wow, look at you shifting your mindset. Usually you'd be negative about this, but I'm so proud of you that you actually brought awareness to this negativity so that maybe in the future we can change it. Well done. How often do you acknowledge yourself and show gratitude and appreciation to yourself for all the things that you're just expected to do? Right? So maybe we need to bring gratitude in not only for others, for ourselves as well. So we focus on gratitude, not only expectations. We focus on what we can control. We focus on solutions, not problems. We focus on preventions where possible. We focus on the present moment. What can I do in this moment? We focus on all the skills, the resources, what I currently have. And then I focus on my gratitude. And once I've done all of those steps, then, khalas, now I have to focus on my faith. Focusing on my faith over my fear. Because faith and fear, they're very similar, both. They're both imaginative, right? They're both, you cannot touch them, you cannot grab, they're not something that you can actually hold. They're both just created and construed and made up in your mind. One makes us feel absolutely horrible. One makes us feel anxious, overwhelmed, not able to talk or take action. And one grounds us, right? When I'm feeling fearful, I don't take any action. When I'm feeling faithful, when I have faith in myself and my abilities, that I know that no matter what happens, even if the worst case scenario happens, I have the strength, the skills, the ability to overcome it. Just how as I've overcome every other single challenge in my life up until this point, right? Every single day you get into a car, right? Most days you're either a passenger of a car or you're driving the car. And every single day you get in, not realizing it, but trusting in faith. Faith that your car is going to stay on the right side of the road and the other person who's coming at 100 kilometers is going to stay on their side of the road. And you have faith every single day, else you would never travel. If you had to think about your fears, you would never go anywhere. So when you're handing over your thoughts to faith, it's not just saying, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm just trusting the universe. I'm trusting God. If you believe in God, right? I'm just trusting it's going to. No, do everything you can. Do everything that's in your control. Prevent all the problems from materializing. Take all the actions that you can take. And once you've done that, then leave it to faith. Leave it to the universe. Leave it to God. Whatever you choose to believe in as your higher power, leave it to them, because you stressing about it anymore is not going to change the outcome. Being anxious, being overwhelmed is not going to change the outcome. It's just going to make you less functional. So when you go to bed, give it over to faith. You've done everything in your power. Khalas. There's nothing more you can do, and that's fine. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and you cannot change it anymore anyway. You've done everything in your ability, right? So utilizing faith, the belief, the absolute belief in the universe, in your God, in your creator, and in yourself, in your skills, in your ability, that you will be able to handle whatever comes your way, even if it's the worst case scenario. You will find a way through it, right? As you always have done. Beautiful. Okay, so step number 3, we shift the direction, right? What is the direction that you're wanting to go? First step, awareness. Second step, responsibility. Third step, shift the direction. I control what I can. I control solutions. I control preventions. I control my actions. And the rest I leave to faith. Any questions on these 3 steps so far? No? All good? Okay, let's have a short 10-minute break. It is 6 o'clock now. Let's meet back at 10 minutes. I'll give 15 minutes so Sana has time, some time. Anyone that wants to pray can pray. So let's meet back at 6:15. So 6:15, we'll meet back. Grab a sip of water, shake it out, and we'll see you guys back at 6:15. Thank you. Bye-bye. We've got our first 3 steps. Let us have a look then. Oh, so before we go for our next 2 steps, let's just answer some of these questions. I'm going to give you 5 minutes in total to answer these questions. As soon as you're done, give me a thumbs up so that I know you're done. I want you to look back at the fixed mindset that we discussed earlier. So look back at all those thoughts you wrote, all those, what the voice says, and ask yourself, how can I reframe these thoughts as if they were coming from a growth or a positive mindset? What is within my control about this situation and what is not? What are some of the solutions to this problem, or how can I prevent it? Where is my focus, the past, present, or future, and where should it be? What do I have to be grateful for inside and outside of this? And is there a situation I should be showing, specifically a person, maybe even yourself, gratitude instead of only expectations? And finally, what do I have to leave up to faith? So exactly how I did it with Uwana's self-talk that was going on there, right? How can you reframe this environment? How can you reframe these thoughts? And let's go. You've got 5 minutes. Write out as many of these questions as you can. Write out the answers. Reframe every single thought. Reframe every single part of that. And give me a nice big thumbs up when you're ready. One of the questions are not so relevant, that's fine. You can leave it out, but try and answer the majority of these, the ones that are relatable. What's within your control? How can you reframe these thoughts? Last 60 seconds. Just give me a nice big thumbs up when you're done. Got you, Amy. Got you, Sana. Shilpa, did you put your thumb up just now? Or you're not finished yet? Shilpa. So just Juana and Jonathan. Okay, Juana, you're done. Okay, beautiful. Then as part of that, we're looking at developing a mindset of gratitude. Why? Because when you are grateful, fear disappears, anger disappears. It is impossible for you to be experiencing gratitude and anger at the same time. It is impossible for you to experience anxiety and gratitude at the same time. So when you practice gratitude, fear disappears and abundance appears. So learn to celebrate your progress, not perfection. And every single win, every single celebration, it releases this little bit of dopamine, which reinforces the new behavior and wires the brain to continue seeking more growth-based outcomes rather than seeking perfection. So stop thinking of yourself just as existing, your body just as existing, constantly judging or expecting, but take time to actually appreciate yourself. Think about all the things that you do. Think about all the things that your body does for you, and take the time to practice gratitude. If you're always chasing after the things that you want, you'll never stop to actually appreciate the things that you have. You'll always be driven by stress and anxiety, and you'll never be satisfied. If I'm always chasing after things, nothing will ever be good enough. When I stop, when I become present and I practice gratitude, it allows me to actually feel the fullness of life. So gratitude trains that reticular activating system to focus on and search for the good. So right now, you probably have a massive amount of things to be grateful for, right? So I want you to think about, what are you most grateful for? Write up. What is the thing that you're most grateful for? What are you grateful for to have in your life? What are you grateful for about yourself, about your opportunities, about the people in your life? Because when you change your mindset from negativity to abundance, you move away from that scarcity mindset. So write out, what are you most grateful for? What do you have in your life that you've been blessed with? What opportunities, what people, what gifts, what talents? The little things that you're grateful for. Opportunities, your mindsets. Never practice gratitude for your mindsets. Impact. We start allowing this gratitude to drive us, and we see how much is actually possible for us. Beautiful. The next step then, and if you're still writing, that's fine. You can carry on, right? Some of us have lots of gratitude to give. That's fine. Right. The next step, the fourth step, is action. So in this next step, we actually take massive action through our daily habits, our programming, in order to rewire the brain. This is creating those rituals and those routines to cultivate those long-term shifts in our mindset. So here we're using discipline, we're using repetition, we're using consistency. It's like when you go to the gym to build a muscle, right? How many of you gone to the gym before, right? All gone to the gym? Did you leave the gym that very first day and you were like, yeah, look at my muscles, look at my six packs, right? No, it took some time. It's consistency, repetition. Habits are the same. So exactly like as in building muscle, we have to be repeating it. We have to be consistent. So this step is about developing the patterns that you need to develop. So it could consist of different rituals and routines. The daily habits, we discussed this in the first session, right? What are the daily habits, the rituals and the routines that align with the person that you're trying to become? That person 6 months from now, what are their habits? What are their daily routines? And try and shift it to identity-based habits. I am the kind of person, not I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to be more positive. No. I'm the kind of person that works out. I'm the kind of person that eats healthier. I'm the kind of person that has a positive mindset. Sometimes that negative mindset happens, but I'm working on developing that positive mindset. So attach your identity to the habit. Affirmations, mantras, right? Something empowering that you can repeat to yourself over and over. It's like a personalized statement to reinforce the new mindset. So if you're someone who's fearful, who gets anxious, say, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm confident. Every single day, I'm growing my confidence every single day. If you're someone who gets overwhelmed, every single day, I'm learning to manage more effectively without becoming overwhelmed. So think of a little affirmation. My favorite one, whenever I feel very overwhelmed, I'll be like, Ikuya, you are strong, you are powerful, you've got this, let's go. Right? And I literally say it to myself before every single hard task. It's like just a little motivation to get me motivated. Remember, whatever you repeatedly say, you will begin to believe. So visualization practice. Picture success. Embody those feelings, that new version of yourself. When you're waking up first thing in the morning, when you're going to bed, visualize yourself, right, as if you've achieved your goals. So use the trick of the brain, the conscious mind, to visualize your success as if you've achieved it. Gratitude on a daily basis. So using a gratitude and wins journal. Start training that brain to notice the progress and positivity every single day, right? Shift where your thoughts go. Go back to those power questions, right? What are those power questions? Let them use you, let them retrain, or use them to help you retrain. And the last two steps of the action is surround yourself with growth and positivity. Surround yourself with people who support you, who encourage your growth. Seek out positive influences. If you know you're surrounded by negativity, it's more important for you to listen to motivational podcasts, to listen to motivational speakers, to read books that are going to inspire you, especially if you're in a negative environment. So surround yourself, even if you're not directly surrounded, listen to things, read things that are going to help you grow, inspire, transform. And finally, develop resilience. Remember that setbacks and failures, they're natural. They're part of the learning process, right? That's why it's called practice. Instead of dwelling on them, focus on what you can learn from the experience and how you can use it to improve in the future. I always use my first attempt as something out of curiosity. Let's see how I do, right? Most of the time, I haven't planned a whole lot. You know, the first time I ever ran a retreat, this was 2016, right? So we're speaking almost 10 years ago. So let's just give us a little bit of what's the word? Compassion, understanding, right? 10 years ago, me. First time I ran a retreat, I created this beautiful event. I posted it on Facebook. I got it fully booked. I didn't even have an itinerary, right? As on the way to the retreat, someone asked for the itinerary. I was like, probably a good idea to have an itinerary. I was in the car writing the itinerary, right? It somehow worked out to be not so bad, the retreat. It was a pretty empowering retreat. And I learned a lot. I learned a massive amount of how not to do things in the future, what to do in the future. And every day it got better. Every time we did it, got better and better and better. And that was the foundation for this training, right? So don't take those setbacks, don't take those failures, those first attempts, take those as a learning experience, take those as curiosity, as fun, right? Something that you can learn to get better at. So What new actions can I take daily to shift my mindset? Are there any daily habits, rituals, or routines I need to start weaving into my life to get into the mindset and the state that I want to live in? Is there a certain trigger or situation that occurs that gets me into a negative mindset? I know whenever this happens, I get into a negative mindset. What can I do next time? What can I do instead? How should my thinking patterns be different? And how can I ensure to do that, to think differently? Can I snap my fingers? Can I clap so that I become aware? Is there a certain ritual that I can do, right? How can I make sure that I don't fall into those patterns of having a negative mindset? How can I keep myself into the right direction? How can I focus on my goal to keep me motivated? And most importantly, why is it important for me to do that? What would it give me and the people around me if I was able to shift my mindset into the direction I wanted to go? What kind of mindset do I want? Do I want a positive growth mindset? Do I want to be confident? And why is it important for me to live in that state? What would it give me, my energy, my health, my finances? What would it mean for my children, for my partner, for all of my relationships, every single person around me? If I was able to truly do this, what would that mean for me? What would that give me? What would life be like? We've got 30 seconds left to write. What new actions, what new thoughts should I allow to drive me? What new thinking patterns should I be developing? And why is that important? Do I need to focus more on solutions? Do I need to focus more on preventions? Do I need to focus more on what I can control? Do I need to focus more on gratitude? Beautiful. Okay, so remember that repetition is the mother of all skills. Whatever you repeat over and over and over, just like tying your shoelace, just like driving your car, it becomes automatic. Right? Remember those neural pathways in your brain. In order to create real lasting change, number one, decide what you want to change, develop awareness around it, understand it fully, become aware of it, take responsibility and gain the confidence that you're actually able to change it. Direct your mindset and your focus to what you want to achieve. Move in the direction that you want to go. Who do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? What do you want your outcome to be? And then take a massive amount of action, consistent action in your daily habits, your daily thoughts, in order to move into that direction. And repeat that. Repeat it over and over and over until it becomes automatic, until it shifts to the subconscious, until you don't have to even think about it anymore. That's just who you become. Right? So repeat the new behavior, repeat the new thought pattern, and keep repeating it over and over and over until that becomes your new normal. This is the exact same process we do with our clients. We help them develop awareness. We teach them the importance of taking responsibility. We teach them how to shift their mindset, how to focus on what they can control, how to focus on solutions and preventions. We explain to them, this is anxiety, this is sadness, this is anger. These are the different emotions. This is how we shift away from that. We focus on this. We do this with our self-talk. We do this with our body. You'll be learning this in later trainings. And we just repeat this over and over and over until it becomes normal. And every single week, we show up, we remind them of who they are, what they're after, what their goal is, what their vision is. We help keep them accountable. And that's what we do as coaches. Isn't that pretty cool? Isn't that pretty amazing? Right? Beautiful. So, whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life. So decide, what is it that you're wanting to be holding in your mind? What colors are you searching for? What are you looking for? Beautiful team, give yourselves a massive round of applause. Week 3 is done and dusted. Very, very well done. I am going to ask you all to please unmute yourself one by one and let me know what was your biggest win. Ioana, you're first. So if you don't mind, unmute yourself. Let us know, what was your biggest win?
The biggest win is to understand how visualization helps you realize your dreams and goals. And by repetition becomes habit, and again it enforces your dreams and goals to happen.
Beautiful.
And then thank you for helping me with my anxiety today.
Did it help a little bit? Do you feel like a little bit less anxious now?
Yes, because yesterday and today I was thinking only about this video recording and how to do it, and I was creating a plan, and like I was hyperventilating. But I believe you're right. Like I do have to focus on what I can control and what I can do now, and worry about what's going to happen then and there later.
Absolutely right. Remember, this is your first time doing it, right? And
Yes.
by the way, every single one of you are going to have to submit a video recording of you doing a coaching session. And why do we do that? Is because rather practice it and get anxious practicing it than rather in real life when it's actually a real situation and then you're anxious. Rather get over the anxiety with all the practice. By the time you're doing it in real life, you're like, hello, I'm sick of this anxiety. I'm already like, right? So yeah, just take a deep breath. It's just your practice. It's meant to be a disaster. It's not meant to be perfect. Okay. Beautiful. Sana.
The part that I really liked in today's session is how to focus. I think I have a problem with the focus. To focus on what I have and the gratitude and solution. And I think this is very powerful questions. It will give you like a peace of mind if you focus on those rather than looking at something that you don't have control of. Your present, not the past or the future. So that was my win for today's session.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sana. It's very, very, very powerful. And this will show up in all of your coaching sessions, every single one. And I think being a mother, it's your natural instinct, right? To look at my fears, to look at all the things that could go wrong. So as a mother, that's what you're wanting to do, right? You're wanting to protect. But it is also important to learn how to focus on the things that are going to make us feel good. Because when we feel good, we have so much more to give. When we're feeling anxious and overwhelmed and we're focused, all these things that make us feel negative emotions, it's very difficult to show up as our best, right? Even as a best mother, even as a best partner or as a best coach. So it is important to learn how to redirect because you deserve to feel happiness and peace and calm, right? Beautiful. Thank you. Amy.
So I agree with Sana. I said that I wrote down also that I felt like something I need to work on is developing my mindset of gratitude, because I do tend to focus on like the worst thing that can happen rather than, look at what I have in front of me. And so I think I really need to work on celebrating, those small wins, and I think also visualizing, the desired outcome. I think that would help a lot, because I do kind of think like the worst thing that's going to happen and I prepare for it. So that's something I have to work on a lot.
To visualize the worst outcome.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Amy. Thank you. Shilpa.
Hi, my biggest take. I have already practiced this like recently. It is like preparation. You know, preparation leaves you with less anxiety. Whenever you are anxious or something, focus on preparation. That is something which is in my hands. So, and leave other thing on the faith. That is my take. Like recently, means I love hosting parties, but that sometimes gives me anxiety also. But few days back, like a week back, I hosted 28 girls at my home, and I was very happy with the results. I did everything what I could do, and I had no anxiety while they were with me, and that led to a very happy party and very happy ending. So I think preparation are the best.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
yeah,
Shilpa.
I'm very happy about it.
Alhamdulillah. I'm happy to hear, Shilpa.
Yeah.
Jonathan, last but not least.
Hi everyone. I think I really enjoyed the session. So what I took away was it's just that definition of conscious mind. It's like the captain, and then the crew is the subconscious. And what you feed yourself in the conscious mind, it goes to the subconscious area. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part. And like you said, with the repetition as well. What do you want to become? If you do it over and over, the habits and the thoughts, you can become that person. So yeah, it's a takeaway for me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Team, it has been so lovely to be with you this evening. I hope the sixes are a little bit higher. Otherwise, enjoy the weekend. It's almost here. Have some time off, have some rest, and focus on the gratitude. Thank you guys. Have a lovely weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks. Bye, team.